Okay, so in last class, what we have done, we have just formulated the formula of degree of freedom. So what is degree of freedom? Degree of freedom is basically you have 3n minus k, and this is my degree of freedom, where n is nothing but number of particle and k is number of holonomic constraint. Number of holonomic constraint. Now look at this thing very carefully. Right now, I am just saying that n is number of particle, but in some problem, we have to redefine this n. Depends on situation. So, because ultimate aim is that we have to talk about degree of freedom, that independent motion. So, but in general, hence we are just starting this particular topic right now. So, in general, right now we can say n is nothing but number of particle. Okay, and we are just doing the particle dynamics right now. We are not using the rigid body thing. We are not using moment of inertia in our calculation right now. Once we will do the moment of inertia and then we will go for rotational dynamics, then we will include all this thing. So right now, this is the situation. Now, today, what I am going to do, I will just find out the different degree of freedom for different system. And today we will stick ourselves only on the Cartesian coordinate. And you will see that this Cartesian coordinate is enough to define degree of freedom. But they are not enough to, they are enough to define degree of freedom actually. They are enough to define degree of freedom. But when you are going to see the motion, then you will find that Cartesian coordinate is not exactly the thing we wanted to deal with it. Then we will go for different coordinate system. But before going to different coordinate system, let us just try to see why we need different coordinate system. This is very important thing, and that intuition must be developed to everyone. Then only you can understand the basic nature of coordinate transformation and why this coordinate transformation is so valuable into this classical mechanics. So let us go for one problem, and we will do 3 and 4 problem right now, and we will just try to figure it out. What will be my equation of constraint and what will be my degree of freedom? So first problem is, let us go for simple pendulum. This is the simplest system you can have, but although this is not simple one. So what is simple pendulum? Simple pendulum is, there is a mass m and this point is fixed. This point is fixed. And the length between this point, this is position point. So O to M is, let's say, L. And what is going to happen? This simple pendulum is just moving in, let's say, XY plane. So this plane is X. Let's say this plane is Y. So this axis is X, this is Y. So this is XY plane and this is my Z axis. So I can use this notation. So what I have to do, I have to figure it out. What will be degree of freedom for this particular system? So obviously, and now we are just doing it only with the Cartesian coordinate. We are not going to any other coordinate system. Now, so before doing the degree of freedom, we have to define what is my origin. So this is my origin. And I can give the coordinate of this point mass. The coordinate of this point mass I can give X, Y, and Z. And now we will just give the we will just mathematically write all the story. What is the story? This pendulum is confined in XY plane. This pendulum is confined in XY plane. So what is meaning of that? Meaning of that, I can write Z must be equal to 0. This is all about xy plane. Z must be equal to 0. So this is one form of equation. This is one form of equation, and we can write Z is equal to 0. Now, is that my x and y are independent? Z is exactly 0. But is that my x and y are independent, or they are dependent to each other? Obviously, they are dependent. Why they are dependent? Because we have x square, or you can write the length equation that x minus 0 whole square plus y minus 0 whole square, and this root under must be equal to L. This length is always fixed. So if this length is always fixed, that means x and y are not independent. They are dependent to each other. Then what will be dependency? What will be locus of x and y? Now I can rewrite this equation again, but before that, just go for the degree of freedom. So how many particles is there? How many particle is there? Only one particle is there. N is equal to 1. And how many equation of constraints are there? There are two constraints. There are two story. What is first story? The first story is that the particle is confined into xy plane. This is our first story. And second story is that the length between mass and this point O must be always fixed. So this is my second story. So this will mathematically tell us what is my first story, and this will mathematically tell us what is my second story. So k is equal to 2. So what will happen to degree of freedom? The degree of freedom is 3n minus k, that is equal to 3 into 1 minus 2 is equal to 1, and there is 1 degree of freedom. Degree of freedom must be 1. Now my question is that, and this is very important question, so what will be that independent motion? If there is only 1 degree of freedom, there must be one independent motion. How we will visualize that independent motion? This is very interesting problem. Are you going to understand this thing? Mathematically, I am okay with z is equal to 0 and x minus 0 whole square plus y minus 0 whole square is L. But physically, I am not going to understand how motion is happening in x and y. Are you able to understand this thing? Are you able to visualize this thing from here?
Yes,
Only from
yes.
x and y? No,
No, sir.
we cannot visualize this thing. Because we can see, yes, there is 1 degree of freedom, and the motion is that this particle is just moving in xy plane. So what is going to happen? What is going to happen? You can see this particle is, if we again going to explore this equation, then this equation is nothing but x minus 0 whole square plus y minus 0 whole square is equal to L square. And what will be this equation? This equation is nothing but the locus of circle, isn't it? This is locus of circle. Means my particle is moving on some circular track. This M is moving on some circular track whose radius is L. Now, but how we can visualize independent motion? To visualize independent motion, we should go for some type of transformation. And that transformation will be decided by this equation, that which transformation is the best transformation. I will deal it into next class. But today, I just want to give you the intuition that in spite of Cartesian coordinate, using the Cartesian coordinate and finding the exact value of degree of freedom, we cannot visualize all independent motion in Cartesian coordinate. We need to transform our coordinate. What is actually here independent motion? The independent motion is that only this theta is going to change, isn't it? This theta is going to change. So actually angle is going to change. So how I should include this angular variable into this problem is the matter of challenge. Because I can visualize that, okay, this string will make some angle theta at some time t with my y-axis. So a lot of students ask me that why not we are solving each and every problem into Cartesian coordinate? No, mathematically you can write each and everything, but physically if you want to understand the physical system, then Cartesian coordinate is not enough. You need to go for a coordinate transformation. So are you people going to understand this particular system? This is very simple one, but yes, this is, you have to understand how we can proceed the system. Use the Cartesian coordinate to find the degree of freedom. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Any doubt? Okay. Let us go for next problem. Then you will see that, okay, at some point of view, the Cartesian coordinate is enough, but for another particle, suppose I am taking the two particle, in one particle you will find, okay, Cartesian coordinate is enough, but in the second particle, you will find, no, this is, the Cartesian coordinate is not enough. So let us try to go for next one. Suppose we are just going for moving pendulum. We will solve each and everything, don't worry. Okay, let us go for moving pendulum. Now, suppose, what is moving pendulum? Suppose this is my x-axis and there is some mass. Let's say this is capital M and there is a string, and this string is massless of length L, and let's say this mass is M2. And what is this problem? The problem is that mass M1 is moving along x-axis. Mass M1 is moving along x-axis, and mass M2 is moving in XY plane. So this is my, let's say this is my y-axis, this is my x-axis. I can put, so is that I should put origin here this time?
No, sir.
No, we cannot put origin here because this point is also moving. And if I am giving the point of origin, what will be your origin? Then that should be a fixed point. So obviously this point is not origin. This is not a suitable choice of origin. So what I can take some another point which should be the suitable point of origin. Now look at what is going to happen. Let us go for the story of mass M1. What is the story of mass M1? And we are just writing each and everything in a Cartesian coordinate system. Please, this is very important. First, you have to write each and everything in a Cartesian coordinate, and then you can analyze the system, and then you can go for the particular coordinate transformation. So now look at here. This is my particle M1. if this particle would free, then I have to give the coordinate x1, y1, z1 in Cartesian coordinate. If it would free, and if this particle would free, then again I can give the coordinate as x2, y2, z2. But these are not free. There are a lot of constraints here. So let us go to constraint to mass m1. What is constraint on mass m1? So constraint on mass m1 is the given in this story. This story is that mass m1 is moving along x-axis. That means there is not any motion along y direction or z direction. So how you will write this story in a mathematical form is that you will just write y1 is equal to 0, y1 is equal to 0, and z1 is equal to 0. And this is a story for mass m1. This is a story for mass m1. I have taken the small value. So this is a story for mass m1. Now let us go for a story of mass m2. What is the story of mass m2? The story of mass m2 that it can move only in xy vertical plane. This is my z-axis. This is y. So this is my z-axis. So what I can do, I can write z2 is equal to 0. This is a story of mass m2. Now, is that any story between m1 and m2? Is that any story? Is that any interconnection between m1 and m2? Yes. This length will be always fixed. Isn't it? This length will be always fixed. Whatever be the situation, the length of mass m1 and m2 will always fixed. So what we will do? We will just go and write this equation, this length. So we have to use basically the distance formula. What will be my distance formula? The distance formula is x2 minus x1 whole square plus y2 minus 0 whole square, and third point is 0 minus 0, and this length must be equal to length L. This is your length and that must be equal to L. And this is a story of that length, so distance between mass m1 and m2 is L. So whatever we are writing into English, we can translate into mathematics. This is all about writing the equation of constraint. So I think you can watch it something like this. Okay. Good. So this is the story. So now what will be degree of freedom? The degree of freedom is how many particle is there? N is equal to 2. And how many equation of constraints are there? There are, this is my first constraint. This is my second constraint. This is my third constraint. And this is my fourth constraint. So this is all about my constraints. So we have degree of freedom, and that will be 3 into 2 minus 4 is equal to 2 degree of freedom. This is 3n minus k. So this is DOF is equal to 2. Now, how you will visualize these two independent motion? If there is 2 degree of freedom, that means there is 2 independent motion. How you will visualize this thing? Are you able to visualize it into Cartesian coordinate? Yes, you can visualize one independent motion for mass m1 and m2, that it can just move something like this. Isn't it? You can just assume that, okay, the second mass is not oscillating or not moving, then both masses are just moving like this. So, okay, One motion I can visualize independently, but what about second motion? Where is second motion? How you will visualize that motion? It is very difficult to visualize that motion into directly Cartesian coordinate. But yes, if we will see this particular locus is nothing, but I can say this will be x2 minus x1 whole square plus y2 minus 0 whole square is equal to L square. What will be this equation? What is this equation?
Equation of circle.
Obviously, this is equation of circle with fixed radius, but changing center, because x1 itself is going to change with the time. X1 itself is going to change with the time. So at particular point of time, if you will sit on M1, then what you will see this M2 will move in some circular track. If you will sit it here, if you will take this thing as rest, then it is moving in a circular path. Isn't it? But what is actual motion? The actual motion of a system, suppose this is my M1 and this is my M2, the actual motion of a system is something like this, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Something like this. So if it is my actual motion of a system, then you can see there is one translation motion and there is one angular motion is also there. I can explain my translation motion with Cartesian coordinate, but what about angular motion? How I can explain angular motion with Cartesian coordinate? Even if I can say what will be my degree of freedom, I cannot explain my another motion, another independent motion with help of Cartesian coordinate. What I can say only that, okay, this is the locus you can use to transform the coordinate system. So mathematics will tell you everything, but you have to hear him. There are a lot of mathematical equation, but from that mathematical equation, you have to make the conclusion that in which direction you have to move. And yes, this Cartesian coordinate will tell you that story, and then you will transform your system accordingly. Are you people appreciating this thing, or have you any confusion? Everybody? You can ask question, don't worry.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Excuse me, sir.
बोलो एक एक करके. हाँ बताओ.
सर ये समझ नहीं आ रहा कि एंगुलर मोशन क्यों नहीं एक्सप्लेन कर पाएंगे.
क्योंकि थीटा नजर नहीं आ रहा है तुम्हें. थीटा का मैंने कोई मैथमेटिकल चीज लिया. एंगुलर मोशन मींस व्हाट? थीटा, एंगल.
Yes, sir.
Angular motion means angular velocity, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
And how you will write angular velocity in x and y?
Okay, sir. सर तो जो पहला वाला क्वेश्चन था उसमें भी हमें
yes, हमें कोऑर्डिनेट ट्रांसफॉर्म करना पड़ेगा. We cannot write angular motion in x and y.
Okay, sir.
Listen, what I am explaining actually why we need coordinate transformation. Are you getting my point? Why
Yes,
Cartesian coordinate, even if Cartesian coordinate mathematically very good thing, because it just give you what will be your degree of freedom, isn't it? It will give you what is degree of freedom. It also give you that in which direction you have to move. In which direction you have to move after coordinate transformation. But it will not give you that mathematical variable of angular variable and all other kind of thing. Suppose I just want to know what will be angular momentum, how you will write this thing? Maybe you can write mathematically, but not explain each and everything physically. So actually we all are not mathematics student, we are a student of physics, isn't it? We want to see how things are visualizing, how we can visualize the particular system. Where is the motion? What should be, how this motion can be explained? क्लियर हो रहा है ये बात जो मैं कह रहा हूं?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you will see as we will just transform the coordinate, and suitable coordinate is very important. As you will transform into suitable coordinate, then what you will find, you will find yourself very relaxing. Okay, I can understand this variable for this type of motion, this variable is for this type of motion. You will be very relaxed there. Okay. Okay, so let us go for one more problem.
एक्सक्यूज मी सर,
हाँ बोलो.
सर किसी फोर्स की वजह से मोशन कंस्ट्रेन हो सकता है?
फोर्स की वजह से मोशन कंस्ट्रेंट, व्हाट डू यू मीन? नो, फोर्स की वजह से मोशन कंस्ट्रेंट नहीं होगा. फोर्स की वजह से उसकी काइनेटिक एनर्जी और पोटेंशियल एनर्जी चेंज हो सकती है.
ओके सर.
है ना? अगर वो कंस्ट्रेंट हो भी रहा है, सपोज तुमने एनफ फोर्स लगा दिया कि मोशन रुक गई, सपोज इस तरह की कहानी आप कहना चाह रहे हो. आई थिंक आप कुछ इस तरह की
Yes,
कहानी
sir.
कहना चाह रहे हो,
Yes,
है ना?
sir.
कि दैट यू आर गिविंग
Yes,
सम
sir.
फोर्स एंड मोशन इज स्टॉप्ड, देन दैट stopped motion can be explained in term of this coordinates.
Okay, sir.
है ना? And that at that time what will be the value of force and all this thing are different story.
सर उस केस में तो हम उस फोर्स को कंसीडर करेंगे ना एज अ कंस्ट्रेंट?
नहीं, फोर्स को आप कंस्ट्रेंट नहीं कंसीडर करोगे. फोर्स तो कंस्ट्रेंट प्रोड्यूस कर रहा है. आर यू गेटिंग दिस थिंग?
यस सर, यस सर, यस सर.
है ना?
Yes, sir.
फोर्स तो उसको मोशन को रोक रहा है. एंड बाय द वे, मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग इज दैट वी आर डूइंग द फिजिक्स where there is not static motion. Sorry, there is not a static thing. We are talking about the dynamic thing. Okay, so why we are talking about
Yes.
degree of freedom? If something is stopped, then degree of freedom is 0. That's it. That's over.
ओके सर.
Okay, तो हम वैसे प्रॉब्लम कर रहे हैं जिसमें कि मोशन हो रहा है. ओके,
ओके सर. यस सर.
और उस मोशन को आप डिफाइन कर रहे हो डिफरेंट टाइप्स के कंस्ट्रेंट्स को यूज करके, कि कहां कहां मोशन नहीं हो पा रहा है उस कंस्ट्रेंट को यूज करके. ठीक है? So it is very important that all these things are dynamical variable. Okay, that means dx upon dt is not equal to 0. These are dynamical variable. Are you getting my point? अगर ये 0 हो ही जाएगा सब, तब तो मोशन ही रुका हुआ है. Then degree of freedom is obviously 0. What will be degree of freedom of this chalk static in my hand? 0.
0.
है ना? So that is different story. So at that point we have to use only Newton's law. Okay,
यस सर.
and
Yes,
हम उसको
sir.
करेंगे. इस Lagrangian करने के बाद we will do that Newton's law. We will see the role of friction and all this thing. Okay,
यस सर.
okay, good, nice question. Okay, so everybody is convinced with my argument. So let us go for one more problem, and we will again come to all these problem. Don't worry. Once we will learn why coordinate transformation is important. Sorry, once we will learn that about the different types of coordinate transformation. Mainly two type, mainly for cylindrical coordinate, circular polar and spherical polar coordinate. These are enough for our examination point of view. Okay, let us go for next problem. In this problem, there is a table, and you can assume this is table. On this table there is a hole. Okay, and one mass is constrained to move on a surface of table, and another mass is attached to end of a string. So these two masses is attached to end of a string, and this is massless string of length L. So there is, suppose this is mass m1, this is mass m2, and mass m1 and m2 constraint, sorry, mass m1 and m2 attached to to end of massless string attached to end of massless string M1 and M2 attached to end of massless string where mass M1 is constrained to move on a surface of table and mass M2 can move only in vertical direction. So this is the story. So these are two masses. So this mass can move only on surface of table and this mass can move up or down only. It cannot move like this. This can move only up and down. So when it will go up, when this mass M1 is moving away from origin, this mass M2 go upward direction. If this mass will go towards the origin, then this mass will go towards downward direction. So they are dependent motion to each other. Okay, so let us try to figure it out. What will be degree of freedom? So we have to choose origin. Where should be origin? Obviously, this point is fixed. This hole is fixed, so I can choose this is my origin. And you have to first give all the privileges to all the particles. Privileges of motion to all the particle. Privilege of all independent motion to all the particle. So what about first particle? Suppose it is independently moving in any direction in a space, then what should be its coordinate? Its coordinate should be x1, y1, z1. And suppose this second mass can also move independently in any direction. Let them free. Then what will happen? This will be x2, y2, z2. Yes. But this is not a story. The story is entirely different. Now let us write all this story in form of mathematics. So mass M1 is constrained to move in xy plane. What is meaning of that? Meaning of that, Z1 must be equal to 0. Second story, independently for mass M2. What is going to happen for mass M2? This can move only in vertical direction. And vertical direction, suppose I can take this is x, this is y, this direction is z actually. You can assume this is surface of table and this particle can move up and down. And the first particle can move only on the surface of table. So this is my z direction, this is my x, and this is my y direction. You can visualize this all thing. Okay. So what is going to happen? Z1 is equal to 0. And what about this one? इसके लिए क्या होगा? Then obviously x2 is equal to 0 as well as y2 is equal to 0. Now, is that this story is enough for us? No.
No, sir.
This story is not enough. There are one more constraint. There should be one more constraint. Why? Because motion of M1 and motion of M2 is not independent. They are dependent. And why they are dependent? Why they are dependent? Because the length between this string is always fixed. So what will be the length? Obviously this length plus this length, isn't it? What will be this length? First, let's go for this length. What will be this length? This length is x1 minus 0 whole square plus y1 minus 0 whole square, this length. And what about this length? This length is nothing, but hence x2 and y2 is 0. So this will be z2 minus 0 whole square root under is equal to length L. Suppose the string has length L. Then this will be length L. Then how many equation of constraints are there? This is my first constraint. This is my second constraint. This is my third constraint. And this is my fourth constraint. So what will be my degree of freedom? The degree of freedom is, again, you can write 3n minus k, and we can write 3 into number, and this is my degree of freedom actually. 3 into number of particle is 2 minus how many constraints? And all are holonomic in nature. All are holonomic in nature. So we have minus 4. So there is 2 number of degree of freedom. Now 2 number of degree of freedom means there must be 2 independent motion. Now can you visualize 2 independent motion? Can anybody visualize 2 independent motion?
One can be visualized.
One can be visualized. Okay, it can go up, then it can go away. This is the first motion. Okay, independent. Where is the second one? Independent motion I am talking about. Where is the second one? Can you visualize second one without any transformation?
No, sir.
No, you cannot visualize. But if you will see, there are 2 independent motion. One independent motion is that it can go up, then obviously it will go away because this is there. And another independent motion is that it may be become rest, but it can be moved in some circular track. So there are 2 independent motion, isn't it? But it will if sorry.
Sorry sir. Sir, अगर दोनों simultaneously हुआ तो मतलब ऊपर भी जा रहा और
obviously that is combination of these two, na? They are not independent. Actual motion is the combination of these two.
Yes sir.
Okay, how you
Yes,
will
sir.
now? This is a very nice question. This is a very nice question. What is meaning of independency? Which mathematical quantity will tell you about independency?
If both are not related, then
Okay, that is in the
that
English.
will-
That is in the English. I want mathematical quantity.
अगर उन दोनों में से constant equation नहीं बनेगा तो
Okay, that's okay. That's great. But
Degree of
I
freedom.
want much more deeper.
मतलब इक्वेशन बताओ सर.
नहीं, कोई इक्वेशन नहीं. क्या कैसे पता चलता है कि ये इंडिपेंडेंट, ये वेरिएबल इंडिपेंडेंट, ये वेरिएबल इंडिपेंडेंट नहीं है? कैसे पता चलता है? Not dy upon dx, not del y upon del x, partial derivative. Partial will tell you about the independency. What is meaning of that? If I am saying del upon del x keeping y constant, what is meaning of that? That you can use this only x and y are independent, isn't it?
Yes sir. Right,
Exactly. Now look at here. What you are saying? You are saying that both can be moved simultaneously. No, you cannot check independency from there. You have to stop one motion, then you have to tell what is going to happen, the change for the another motion. Are you getting my point?
नहीं सर, एक्चुअली ये पॉइंट नहीं समझे सर.
समझने की कोशिश कीजिए. ये जो मैथमेटिकल का क्या मतलब, इस मैथमेटिक्स का क्या मतलब है? का मतलब ये है कि y को कांस्टेंट रख के आप x वेरी करोगे तभी तो इंडिपेंडेंसी देख पाओगे.
यस सर.
Similarly,
okay sir, to check independence.
yes. So similarly, if you want to check independent motion, then you have to stop one motion, then you have to check another one.
हाँ sir, ये समझ लिया.
But the actual motion will be what? The actual motion will be the combination of these two.
Yes sir. Yes sir.
Okay. Now this is very important thing. So what we are trying to do with the degree of freedom, with this particular degree of freedom thing, we just try to figure it out, what are the independent motion and which independent variables are attached to them, such that I can talk about the complete motion. What will be complete motion? The complete motion will be mixture of these two. But how you will analyze independent motion? You will analyze independent motion once you will stop one motion, and then you will see what is going to happen to the another one. That will tell you about the independency, isn't it?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So you have to be very much careful when you are talking about the independency.
सर यहाँ पे हम इंडिपेंडेंसी ऑफ वेरिएबल्स की बात कर रहे हैं कि मोशन की बात कर रहे हैं?
If variables are independent, then motion is also independent.
ओके सर.
Okay?
ओके सर.
Because these variables will be ultimately tell you which one, actually each and every variable will associate it to each and every independent motion. Are you getting my point?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Suppose, just मैं आपको एक simple example देता हूँ. This is little bit complicated. Suppose something is moving in a circle. Okay? So if something is moving in a circle, what is meaning of that? If you will fix the value of r is equal to a, and then this angle is going to change, isn't it? So then this theta will be independent to r, isn't it? Another type of thing can be happen. Suppose we have x and y, and at some particular angle theta naught, and this is constant angle, let's say this angle is some constant, you can change the value of r. So is that changing the value of r will depend on theta?
No, sir.
For any
No,
angle,
sir.
you can change the value of r. And similarly, for the any r, you can change the value of theta. Why they are like that? Because they are independent. So if you will mix these two things, suppose you will mix these two things, then which kind of motion you will observe? You will observe something this kind of motion, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
So
sir.
if I am talking about motion of a spiral, then it is mixture of two independent motion, isn't it?
Yes.
One, your radial will be changed, and another, your angle will be changed. And if you will mix these two things, then you will have this particular thing. Are you getting my point?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any more doubt?
No, sir.
Okay. So whenever we are talking about independent motion, that means we have to talk about independent variable. So here, for one particular independent motion, I can have variable into Cartesian coordinate. But what about another independent motion? It is very difficult to talk at this point of time when we are using the Cartesian coordinate system. So why we have to go for a coordinate transformation, and that is known as basically some different type of coordinate transformation. So why you will give that particular new variable as a generalized coordinate. Are you getting my point? That is a generalized coordinate. So let us go for the definition of generalized coordinate. But I think I have very few time. Time is not enough. Okay, so just go for one more problem actually. Then tomorrow we will go for generalized coordinate and coordinate transformation. Then you will, again we will do these all problems. And yes, right now we all people are little bit confused. Why? Because we are not able to visualize the thing in the Cartesian coordinate. So once we will use the generalized coordinate, which is very important tool to understand the mechanics, then what you will see, you will find that, okay, this variable is associated with this motion, this variable is associated with this motion, and we can deal it in a very nice form. So why only Cartesian coordinate is not enough to discuss different type of motion. Okay, let us go for another one more problem. Then we will discuss generalized coordinate in next class actually. Let us go for compound pendulum. What is compound pendulum? So compound pendulum is something like this. Okay, and there is some mass m, and it can move something like this. Okay, you can just visualize this is your compound pendulum, isn't it? This
Yes,
is your
sir.
compound pendulum. Okay, this is in a vertical position. Now you can just go for this. Simple pendulum is something like this. Okay, sorry, this is not compound pendulum. This is a spherical pendulum. Sorry, not compound. This is a spherical pendulum. Sorry. Compound pendulum means we will take the mass of this. This is a spherical pendulum. Not compound pendulum. This is a spherical. So what is this? This is your spherical pendulum. Okay, something like this. So what will be degree of freedom? This is spherical pendulum. So now I can choose this one as an origin, and this point is x, y, z, and let's say this length is L. What will be equation of constraint here? And this can move in a space, keeping this point fixed. This point is fixed, but this can move in x, y, z all. So what is the equation of constraint here? Only this distance is fixed, isn't it? Only this distance is fixed. So what will happen? I can put this one as a 0, 0. So I have x minus 0 whole square plus y minus 0 whole square plus z minus 0 whole square root under is equal to length L. There is only one constraint. Have you any more constraint here?
हाँ सर.
But
सर
the
वो जो
circular
स्फीयर
motion
में
of M.
स्फीयर
Sorry?
में जो घूम
Mm-hmm.
The circular
due to
motion
its
of M.
circular motion.
No, that is not constraint. You can have bigger circle. You can have a smaller circle. So there is motion. Where is constraint in x, y, z? Where is constraint? Only one this thing. Whatever with the position of this mass, this distance will always fix, isn't it? There is not any
Yes, sir.
another constraint. There is not any another constraint. So what will be degree of freedom? The degree of freedom is 3 into 1 minus 1 is 2. So what will be these 2 degree of freedom? How you can visualize this thing here from x, y, z? It is next to impossible that you can visualize this thing in x, y, z, unless until we are not going to transform the coordinates. As we will transform the coordinate in a suitable way, then you will suddenly say, okay, first motion is all about this and second motion is all about this. So why coordinate transformation is very important, and that coordinate transformation can be used, can be derived with the geometry, with the help of geometry, or can be derived with mainly it will be derived with help of geometry or some well-known coordinate transformation. So tomorrow we have a very important lecture that will be generalized coordinate, generalized velocity, and coordinate transformation. And we will also learn how to write the kinetic energy of a particle in different coordinate system. And then we will go for next level of the Lagrangian formulation. So these all are prerequisite of Lagrangian formulation. Lagrangian formulation सीखने के पहले की बात है. Okay, and this can be used into your Newtonian mechanics also. The equation of constraint is the most important thing to solve either in Newtonian mechanics or in Lagrangian mechanics. Everywhere you have to use this thing. Okay. So just as a homework, just tell me, I think you have this mass pulley system in your +2, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
You have this mass pulley system in your +2. This is M1 and this is M2. Just as a homework, just find degree of freedom of system. And what will happen? This M1 and M2 can move only in vertical direction. They cannot move in plane, not any plane. This can move up and this can move down. Obviously, this length of this string has length L. So just find degree, what will be degree of freedom, and please post your answer or solution in your WhatsApp group. I will check it. देखते हैं कितने लोग इसे कर पाते हैं. ठीक है? Everyone should be post it. ठीक है? Post करोगे?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.